Yo, what's up everybody? It's Connor from Unscripted, back with another video. In today's video, I'm giving my predictions for CDL Major 2, and as always, I will be doing it off of the script. So before we get into the video, don't forget to drop a like on the video if you enjoy. Leave a comment down in the comment section below as well with your thoughts and your predictions for the Major, and subscribe to the channel as well if you are enjoying the content and want to see more of it. So without further ado, let's get right into the predictions, and this is going to be a crazy Major to predict for sure. Just like we saw from the league matches this past couple of weeks, pretty much anything can happen. Nothing should be a surprise, and we should not be confident about any predictions because they can so easily change, and we're going to get them wrong. I'm sure of that. I'll probably have tomorrow's matches wrong already or something, so we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to do this. This is my first time actually filling out a pick'em, so usually I just sort of say my predictions, and here I'll actually physically have them in front of you. So let's get right into it, starting with the losers bracket. Let me make sure. Okay, you can see this good. We'll kick off with the Los Angeles Guerrillas versus the Florida Mutineers. Two teams who kind of opposites to me. LAG, I think, definitely the favorite in Search and Destroy, but Florida should be favored pretty heavily in the respawns, and they probably, they could compete in the Search. LAG should probably win the Search, but I like Florida right now. Maybe we'll see as this video goes on. I might have them going on a bit of a run. We'll see how the bracket shakes out. But I'm high on Florida. I think they're a good team and can make some noise, and I think they will be LAG. Paris versus LA Thieves. I'm going to go with 3-0 Paris. I don't see it with the Thieves. I think this is a very generous bracket for the Paris Legion, at least these first two matches, because the LA Thieves are obviously a mess right now. They are subbing out probably their in-game leader in Slasher right before the Major, so that's obviously not probably good for their team chemistry and communication and just being on the same page. And they're just not that good of a team right now. They are something just fundamentally with the LA Thieves is not going well for them. So maybe the Draza change will be a good thing in terms of long-term change of the team and a fundamental, shaking up the foundation. But it's probably not good to do right before a Major in terms of how you will perform at that Major. So this move might pay dividends, a couple months down the line. But right now, I don't think it's going to be a successful move, and I think they will be a quick out of the tournament. So now we will stay in, I guess, we'll just stay in the losers bracket for now. We have the Florida Mutineers versus Seattle Surge. Seattle Surge playing much better right now for sure. Playing better in Search and Destroy especially. They turned it around big time. Pristini playing phenomenal. He was probably one of the worst players in Stage 1, and then in Stage 2 he's just been great. That said, though, I do like the Florida Mutineers. I'll say 3-2, even though they probably are a little bit worse right now at Surge. I think they'll clutch up and get it done when they need it. Neptune's phenomenal. Of course, Awakening is very good at Search as well. So it's not that Florida, individually, they're not bad Search players. So they can definitely compete with Seattle, who isn't exactly juggernauts in Search either. So I'll take Florida 3-2 over Seattle. London versus Paris. I'll give London 1. But I think Paris is the better team than London. I really do. Like I said, pretty good pool for Paris, in my opinion, the way this bracket shaked out. Pretty much for them, it just comes down to Fire. If Fire's playing well, they will have success. Aqua has been one of the best Mutineers in the league this year. Classic. He just keeps the pressure on the map at all times, plays well in Search, gets a ton of engagement, and takes a lot of pressure off his second sub, whether that's going to be Scraps or Fire. Either way, playing with Classic definitely helps in terms of pacing, and Scraps has been great too. Just so consistent. He can do so many different things well. So it pretty much just comes down to Fire, and if he can pick up the slack a little bit and carry his own weight, then they are a very dangerous team, and I think they will get past London. Now moving up to the winners bracket. Optic versus the Ultra. I don't think there's much to talk about here. I think Optic take this one 3-0. Of course, Optic has been a little bit inconsistent, but if they play the way they played that Dallas Empire series, they will beat, honestly, they might beat every single team in the league. Their slaying was phenomenal in that series. Their Search is looking much better, which was their biggest letdown for sure. So if they keep playing like that, they will be a tough out for anybody, including Atlanta FaZe. But yeah, I think they get past the Ultra pretty easy. Subliners versus Dallas is an awesome matchup to have in the first round of winners bracket. I'm not even sure who to predict. Empire probably better in the respawns. Yeah, they're better in the respawns. New York is a little bit better in Search, but they're not like juggernauts on Search either. They can definitely be beaten, and Dallas can win Searches. Not like they're horrible. They just are having a little bit of struggles there right now. But I will take the Dallas Empire over the Subliners 3-1. That will put Dallas into the winners bracket round 2. I guess that's technically the winners finals, or winners semifinals, sorry, against the Minnesota Rocker. I guess we have to stay up here. We can come back down. So we'll come back down to losers first. Toronto versus Florida. I think Florida stays hot. This is kind of a good bracket for them too, the way this one's working out. They have, they got who'd they get first? I forget already. LAG, not very good. Seattle, Toronto, probably the weakest winners bracket team. So a good bracket for Florida as well. I think they'll take it off the Toronto Ultra 3-1 to move on into the next round. And here's probably my biggest, I guess, surprise of the tournament. I'm going to actually take the Paris Legion over the New York Subliners. It's just a hunch. I don't know. Like, New York's been looking very good, so they'd definitely be favored. I think they should be favored. You know, odds are they'll probably beat Paris, but I just have a feeling it's one of those things where Paris will clutch up. Like I said, the potential's there with them. If Fire's playing well, they can be a very good team, and they can compete with the top caliber teams in the CDL, so maybe Fire really picks it up in this series, and the Paris Legion take it from the New York Subliners 3-2. I think that's going to be a good series. If we do get to see that series, I'm very interested in that one because both of those teams are pretty well-rounded, fundamentally sound, solid teams who are pretty even matches for each other, I think, when they're both playing at their best. So if we get to see that matchup, it will be a good one, in my opinion. Back up to the winner's bracket. Oh, can I scroll? Nope. What just happened? Oh my goodness. Okay, there we go. Sorry, like I said, first time doing these, so I'm not sure how the setup works. But anyway, Atlanta FaZe versus Optic Chicago. I think this is probably the one where Optic Chicago's little runs out for now. They just go to losers bracket. But the thing with them is, like, their search is looking better, which is good. Obviously, still nowhere near the Atlanta FaZe. But the thing is, a lot of these teams they're pretty comfortable favorites against in respawns, but Atlanta is not one of those teams. You know, it's pretty much you got to favor Atlanta pretty heavily in the searches, and then the respawns are kind of like coin tosses, so Optic pretty much would have to win 3 coin toss respawns, which they could do, but it's just not likely. So if you're playing the odds, you have to take FaZe. I'll give them 3-2, but 3-1, I can see that as well. Optic will probably win a map, but FaZe are just looking really good right now. Minnesota versus Dallas. I know Minnesota has been Dallas's sort of kryptonite this year. They've beaten them twice in Game 5 both times, I believe. Minnesota, like, these teams are like polar opposites, kind of. Minnesota, like, elite at search, one of the top 2 teams in the league in search and destroy, but they're really bad still at, especially hard points. Their control is fine, but they're bad at hard points. Dallas, just the opposite. Top 2 or 3 respawn team in the league, but not playing well in search right now, so it's kind of, you know, the way the maps work out, it's almost like, okay, well, the respawns happen before the second search does, so you have to favor Dallas, and that's what I'll do. I'll give them 3-1. But if Minnesota can win that control, I think it will go map 5, and they might take it again. Like I said, they've done it twice so far against Dallas this year. So if it goes to map 5, you might have to favor them, but I will take Dallas to get it done before it gets to map 5. Back down here to the losers bracket, we have Minnesota versus Florida. Tough one here. Ooh, I'll go Minnesota 3-2. Just that edge and search and destroy will matter most when it comes down to obviously that map 5 if it gets to that point, but Florida could give them trouble in the respawns for sure, and I could see Florida actually taking that series and moving on once again. You know, Florida is a team that is being slept on a little bit. They went 2-3. I think they finished last in their group, but they were 2-3, and they beat Optic 3-0, I think, so they can definitely, when they're playing at their best, beat the top teams in the league for sure, but I think Minnesota has just a small edge in that series. That should be a good series too if we see it. Optic versus Paris. Paris' run finally comes to an end here. I'll give that a 3-0 to Optic. I think they've beaten Paris twice so far this year by a combined 6-1. Could be misremembering. I know at least one of them was a 3-0. But yeah, Optic just a far better team. Better in the slaying, especially. Paris could even search. I mean, Optic's not the best at search, but neither is Paris. So I don't really see where Paris wins a map there. Of course they could, and they could be 3-1 or whatever. But over the course of a 5-game series, whatever the score is, I think Optic ends up taking that one. Optic versus Minnesota, another interesting one, just sort of the same reasons as Dallas versus Minnesota, just the Optic is the favorites in the respawns, and Minnesota is the favorites in the search, but Optic is not as bad at search as Dallas is, and they also could arguably be better in the respawns. They definitely are in some hardpoint maps and in control. They're one of the 2 best control teams in the league with FaZe. So I'll take Optic 3-1 here. And they could even be 3-0. I can see them beating Minnesota in the search if they keep playing the way they have recently, like in that series against Dallas. And depending on the maps, too. If they get a good map for them, they could compete with Minnesota in search. I'll still give the search to Minnesota, though, just because they've been one of the best search teams all year. But yeah, that's a pretty fun series, but I think it goes to Optic just off of the respawns. Dallas versus FaZe. I'll say 3-0. I don't know, just Dallas's submachine gun duo is very good, but they struggled last time against FaZe when they played in the winners finals and the overall finals of the first major. They were just clearly a step behind, and they couldn't keep up, and especially in searches, they were way behind. So I think FaZe takes that one. Then we get another matchup between Dallas and Optic in the elimination final. So they played twice this year, and so far both times it's went to round 11, or it went to map 5, sorry, and they're 1-1. I think this one, though, I favor Optic right now, and I think I favor them, in 4 games. They could have won all 5 of those maps against Dallas. They outslayed Dallas by like 20-something kills over the course of the series, maybe even more, and they still only won 3-2. Like, their slaying was great. A couple situations went wrong for them in certain spots where they could have won a respawn but didn't. But yeah, they could have easily won both the control and the 1 hardpoint they lost. So I wouldn't put too much weight into that series because, like I said, Optic was outslaying them. They looked like the better respawn team despite losing 2 of the 3 respawns. They looked better, especially in the slaying. I think they're a more fundamentally sound team when it comes to respawns right now, so I will take them over Dallas 3-1. And then in the finals, in the best of 9, Atlanta FaZe versus Optic. I'm not sure how the maps, like what the rotation is of maps, but it doesn't matter to me because FaZe is going to win regardless. And the problem is just there's 4 search and destroys in the 9-game series, so unless Optic wins every single respawn, they're not going to win the series. They just can't compete with FaZe, I don't think, in the search and destroy right now. They can take a map or 2, but FaZe will also probably take a respawn or 2 off of Optic, so it's not like FaZe will win every single search. They might, but they're not guaranteed to. But Optic surely is no guarantee to win every single respawn either, like we said when I talked about their matchup in the winners bracket earlier on. It's basically coin tosses in the respawns, and you favor FaZe in the searches. So you do the math. If you're squeaking by to win all the respawns, odds are you're going to lose one, and if you can't win the searches, then you're going to lose. So I would take Atlanta FaZe in that one to go back to back as the winners of each major so far. That's what I'm predicting. We'll see how it goes. I'm just excited to watch the matches because there's a lot of potential matches that are really fun, and it's going to be a good weekend of games, I think. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like on the video and leave a comment down below as well, letting me know your thoughts and your predictions for the major. Again, subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the Call of Duty this week. It's going to be some good ones. I hope you had a good day, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.